I'm going to talk today about one of the greatest disappointments I've come upon in the last couple of days, and that is Joe and Mika and how disgusting their lack of courage has been. So the other day, earlier this week, I was watching MSNBC, and to my dismay, I noticed that Joe and Mika were talking about their visit to Mar-a-Lago to meet up with the Orange Clown and to have a conversation with him about how they can build a new bridge between them and Donald Trump. Primarily because I believe they're afraid of him. And it just demonstrates an absolute lack of courage and conviction. They have spent the last 7, 8, 9 years, whatever it is, criticising this man, and rightfully so, for the disgusting behaviour that is Donald Trump. But now that Donald Trump is president-elect, they are fearful that their jobs will be on the chopping block and that they believe they needed to do something in order to not build a bridge, but they wanted to do something that would ensure their future, because they believe that their future will depend upon decisions that Donald Trump makes, particularly in relation to allowing organisations like MSNBC to be able to broadcast at all. And that is a genuine fear. But they lack the courage to be able to stand by their convictions and hold this man to account. They chose to acquiesce to him, which I find absolutely appalling and a disgrace. And it shows how small-minded they are now, and how, I guess, they're prepared to change their opinions, to acquiesce to this terrible human being. So, and one of the things I think that is more important than anything else is that it means that whatever they've said in the past, they actually didn't mean. They just found it convenient to say whatever they need to say about Donald Trump, because for whatever reason, it seemed to be the right thing to do at the time, not because they specifically had that conviction. And we must remember that Joe Scarborough himself is a Republican. He's a rambling hunk of excrement as far as I'm concerned. Why people listen to him, I will never really understand, even though I listen to him occasionally just to find out exactly where they're coming from this moderate central perspective of American democracy. And so, as a result of all of this, he and Mika, for having visited Mar-a-Lago to apologise in a bizarre sort of way to Donald Trump, to build this bridge so that they could start having conversations with him. The reality is, though, and mark my words, if they have conversations with Trump and they attempt to criticise him for any of the moves that he makes, he will dispense with them as quickly as clicking your finger. He will get rid of them. They cannot afford to confront him given now what they've done. And he will use the next confrontation as an opportunity to punish them. So they've made it worse for themselves, I believe. So I just wanted to play a bit of a clip. This is after the weekend after they've made this trip to Mar-a-Lago, and how Joe Scarborough has attempted to push aside, to ignore, to bury his head in the sand in relation to the response that many people on Twitter and elsewhere have had to what he and Mika did on that weekend. And I just find it interesting that he himself has decided that he's going to do a Trump and just listen to those positive comments that were made. then this is what he had to say.
Thank you, first of all, to everybody who was so kind last night, but also thank you. Willie, yesterday I saw for the first time what a massive disconnect there was between social media and the real world, because we were flooded with phone calls from people all day, literally around the world. Very positive, very supportive, going, I understand what you did, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But once in a while I would get a text or a call from someone and go, oh man, I hope you're doing okay. And I call him back and I go, well, Eddie Glaude was one of them. I go, Eddie, are you on Twitter? And he goes, I am. I go, okay, well, I'm not. So we've had a good day. Mika just had a wonderful event, and it's fantastic. We're going to do all of us are going to do the best we can do, and we're all working towards a better America.
Take it day by day.
Day by day. And again, you can predict the future by shaping the future. But
That's the take anyway, which is I want to be able to say that I disagree with the negative comments that have been provided in relation to what he did, because what he did displayed the lack of courage that this man has. I often, when I watch Joe Scarborough and Morning Joe and the people that he has on, I see this group of people who want to push back against someone like Donald Trump, and they do it the best that they can. But they sit there in this space which is about American exceptionalism and this continual effort to wave their flag and to say what a great nation that they are, and that Donald Trump is on the outside of all of that, and that they need to push back with him because they need to be able to continue this manifestation of Americans' exceptionalism, which is crap. And there was a segment where some months ago where Nick Bryant was on the show. Nick Bryant now lives in Australia, was a BBC commentator, lived in America for a while, and he wrote a book called The Endless Wars, which was extremely it criticised the United States and for how they've been able to continue this warfare, if you like, within their community. And they hated it. They hated it. And they had to eventually, I think, cut him off, because many of the truths that Nick was saying, they found abhorrent and were confronted with reality. And it's just like Joe Scarborough at the moment is confronted with reality about his pending relationship with Donald Trump, which will not end well for him or for MSNBC. In fact, it has been, I saw something the other day that indicated that Comcast are actually planning to get rid of all their cable networks, including MSNBC, CBS, and so on. So for fear, I think, that Trump will take away their licenses. So let me know what you think in the comments section below. I personally find Joe and Mika horrible, I guess is a very polite way of putting it. And it's really a show in which Joe just wants to ramble about stuff that's important to him. But when the shit hits the fan, the man is scared, really, really scared. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.